I'm quite encouraged by the finding that voters do value checks and balances and accountability. I think it's very heartening. It has been interpreted to mean that Singaporeans do find that at the system level, the institutions have to function with some sort of balance, regardless of whether the policies are good or bad in that sense. So I take this as I'm comforted by it, because I think it shows that the voters do value choices, and they do value, in that sense, plurality, okay, in the political scene. One thing which I've observed much more, I think, since the last election is that the public seems now to be quite convinced that they probably will get better service from the government if the government does not take them for granted. There's a very strong sense that I feel from people who articulate this to me as well, and I think they also assess perhaps some of the policy reviews that the government is doing since the last election, and they feel that, probably this, is actually being motivated probably by the results of the election.
I can understand why a good number will feel that checks and balance is important, because conceptually, you would want an opposing voice, right? Because conceptually, if you have one party saying the same thing, then it doesn't sound healthy. You want different voices, because through discussing different points will probably give you a better result, a better outcome, conceptually. The question is, what is check and balance, and who gives better checks and balance? And that's where reality and concept may not be quite the same. So, as I'm sure Sylvia may not agree with this, but the proof is really in the pudding. And if you attend Parliament, you'll see that it is not, as you understand in concept, that PAP has one idea and the opposition has another idea, which is a different idea. Doesn't work like that in real life. Doesn't work like that in real life. So you have the ministers coming up with a certain policy, then you have PAP MPs who will disagree, who will say, I think this can be improved, I think that can be improved, maybe we should do it differently. Checks and balance can also be done by members of the same party. Many people come to me and says, oh, but the PAP, you have the whip, and so all of you must vote the same way. That's true. That's the system we inherited for party discipline. But nonetheless, you still have PAP MPs giving different views in Parliament. How many times have you heard a WP MP give a different view from the WP? Zero. Zero. So if you think our whip is thick, theirs is thicker. And theirs is obviously more painful.
Now, we value Parliament as very important, and the power to vote is also very important. So therefore, for example, on certain government agenda which we feel is not good for the people, we have actually voted against it as a party, united, no doubt, okay, and even provided alternative solutions or suggestions on how the government could handle it differently. For example, the population white paper is a good example. Now, Hari correctly mentioned that we, at the moment, seldom contradict each other, because first of all, we are a small party in opposition. If you recall, we are only, after the Punggol by-election, 7 MPs out of 87. And you just imagine if one or two of us, start to say things which do not toe the party line, I think the PAP will be singing the opposite song. They'll be saying, see, you're disunited. How can you run the government? That will be what will happen. I think our role, as Ernst mentioned, is that the people need to see that the system is healthy. I mean, I don't think many people would be comfortable with the fact that you have a whole house full of MPs from one party, no matter how much they talk or things like that. I don't think people are comfortable with that, because in the end, you know that the party whip comes in and that's about it.